This Billionaire pie recipe is an improved Millionaire pie with cream cheese and condensed milk. It has a ton of fruity flavor from the cherries, mandarin oranges, as well as nice texture from the pecans, coconut, and graham cracker crust. I'm adding an extra special ingredient that I think is going to not only increase the cherry flavor, it's also going to add a nice pinkish red color. This is a super easy, no-bake dessert. All we have to do for this icebox pie is once we have made or bought the graham cracker crust, is we just mix everything for the filling together, pour it into the crust, and chill. Like I said, this Billionaire pie recipe is super simple. I am going to need one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, along with one 8-ounce block of softened cream cheese. I'm also going to need some Cool Whip. I'm using True Whip, but Cool Whip or even some homemade whipped cream is fine. I am going to need half of this container. Usually Cool Whip is sold in 8-ounce containers, the smaller containers, so you will need 4 ounces of Cool Whip or whipped topping. Like I said, there's a lot of fruity flavor, so I have the maraschino cherries from one 10-ounce jar. I drained the juice and I took the cherries and I chopped them in half. I have one 10-ounce can of mandarin oranges that I drained. Last year I used crushed pineapple, but I'm going to give mandarin oranges a try this year. I think they would be good in Millionaire pie, or in this case, Billionaire pie. Like I said, it's going to have some nice crunch. So I have half a cup or 60 grams of chopped pecans toasted, along with 1 cup or 120 grams of sweetened shredded coconut toasted. You don't have to toast the nuts. Most Millionaire or Billionaire pie recipes don't call for toasting the nuts or coconut, but I think it really brings out the flavor. I'm also going to need 5 tablespoons or a third of a cup or 80 grams of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of the maraschino cherry juice. The extra special ingredient is cherry Kool Aid. I really liked the cherry flavor in the Millionaire pie last year, so I said, since I want to make this pie even better, why not add more cherry flavor? And I think this is the way I'm going to do it. All I need to do is just dump everything into this bowl. So I'm going to start off with the sweetened condensed milk. Now that my sweetened condensed milk is in the bowl, next I'm going to add my packet of Kool Aid. This is a 0.13 ounce packet of cherry Kool Aid. I am not using black cherry, I'm using regular cherry, but I'm sure black cherry would be fine as well. In the future, I'm going to have to make a Kool Aid pie specifically and try other flavors. Now I'm just going to mix in the Kool Aid in with the sweetened condensed milk. I just finished mixing in the cherry Kool Aid. As you can see, it turned the sweetened condensed milk a really nice shade of red. I tasted it and it's really good. Now it's time to add in the cream cheese. This cream cheese is nice and soft. It's very important that the cream cheese is soft because if not, number one, it's going to be hard to incorporate it, and number two, it might curdle. So it's important that it is soft. An electric mixer, my handheld mixer, might be best for this, but I'm going to see if I can just mix this in by hand. I actually did need to use my handheld electric mixer. It actually combined just by using a spoon, but I wanted the mixture to get nice and smooth. So I took my electric mixer and I just ran the cream cheese and sweetened condensed milk and Kool Aid against the side of the bowl, and that is exactly what I needed. Now that that mixture is nice and smooth, it is time to add the other ingredients. my cherries. Like I said, a 10-ounce jar of maraschino cherries, and I cut the cherries in half. My mandarin oranges. I'm just going to make sure that I got most of the liquid out. Should I chop these? So I thought I was recording and I was not. I just went ahead and added the mandarin oranges. I did not really take them out to cut them. I just literally picked them up with my fingers, and big oranges like that, I just tore them apart. I made sure to not add too much of the juice, so that's over there. I added the pecans, the coconut, and the maraschino cherry juice. I actually tried the sweetened condensed milk, Kool Aid, and cream cheese filling on its own, and it's absolutely delicious. Kind of like a cherry Kool Aid cheesecake. So I think this is going to be a phenomenal Billionaire pie. Now it's time to add lemon juice to this Billionaire pie. When I made my Millionaire pie recipe last year, I had to add lemon juice because I needed to add an acid to make sure that the dairy would set. However, going off of the Kool Aid pie recipes I saw here on YouTube that set up without lemon juice, I probably don't have to add it to this Billionaire pie, but I'm going to anyway. Partly just to be on the safe side, and partly because I think it would be a nice addition to this. I'm not sure how much I'm going to add, so I'm going to start off with just a little bit, taste it, and then go from there. After tasting it, I think I'm going to go ahead and add all 5 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm making this Billionaire pie recipe for the first time, so like with anything, add strong ingredients a little at a time because you can always add more later, but you can't take away. Now it's time to add the Cool Whip. Like I said, you will need half of 1 small container. In the United States, whip topping is usually sold in 8-ounce containers, so 4 ounces is what you will need, or about 114 grams. When I combined everything else, I stirred, but I'm going to do something different here. I am going to fold. So I'm going to take my spatula or use a big spoon, take from the bottom and bring to the top. From the bottom up to the top. I am folding and not stirring in the Cool Whip because I have 2 things that are of different densities. The Cool Whip is a lot lighter and airier than the other part of the filling. And if I just stir normally, I run the risk of deflating the Cool Whip, which is not what I want. However, if I fold in, spatula down on the bottom, bring it up like that, I am going to better preserve the fluffiness of the Cool Whip or whip topping. So now I'm ready to pour the filling into my prepared 9-inch graham cracker crust. Of course, this is homemade, but you could use store-bought if you want as well. This is obviously way too much filling for 1 pie, so I'm going to have some left over. I don't think this is enough for 2 pies, unless you want to make the filling kind of minimal in both of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to eat the rest as a salad. If you buy those mini graham cracker pie shells at the grocery store, you could probably make 1 or 2 of those, maybe 3. But 2 full pies, I don't think so. Might actually take out some of this, because I don't want this to be too high. Once I get this level exactly how I want it, I am going to put this into the refrigerator and I'm going to chill it for probably at least 4 hours, and then it will be time to sample. After I chilled the pie for 4 hours, I brought it out and I was ready to serve it. Although it looked great as it was, I wanted to make it extra special, so I used some canned whipped cream and maraschino cherries to dress it up. I put the pie back into the refrigerator for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I was surprised to see that the whipped cream was kind of runny. I use a different, cheaper brand, so maybe that's why. I'm not exactly sure. But luckily, I had another brand of whipped cream in the refrigerator, so I put that on top, and that made it look a little bit better. I was a bit frustrated by my Billionaire pie's aesthetic imperfections, but I couldn't wait to try it. Honestly, this Billionaire pie recipe was a really big success because it was definitely delicious. As expected, it had a very nice cherry flavor from the cherry Kool Aid, maraschino cherry juice, and maraschino cherries. Although I used crushed pineapple in last year's Millionaire pie, I thought that in this Billionaire pie recipe, the mandarin oranges were very nice. I was also glad that I added a bit of lemon juice to this Billionaire pie because I think lemon helps to bring out fruity flavors such as cherry, and I think it worked well in this. The toasted pecans and toasted coconut added some nice texture, so it wasn't just creamy. It was creamy with a little bit of crunch here and there, as well as extra flavor. The filling was thick, creamy, and definitely had a bit of tang from the cream cheese, but it was also light and airy because of the Cool Whip that I mixed in. So honestly, this Billionaire pie had a very interesting flavor and a very interesting texture that contrasted very nicely with the homemade graham cracker crust. Even though this Billionaire pie was good, I think it needed a little bit of extra sugar, maybe 2 tablespoons. Don't get me wrong, it was definitely sweet, but Kool Aid is unsweetened and without sugar, it actually has kind of a sour flavor. And I think that a little bit of extra sugar mixed in with the cream cheese or maybe even the sweet condensed milk, 1 or 2 tablespoons of plain white sugar would have helped to balance that out. But honestly, my biggest criticism of this pie really isn't the pie itself, it's the canned whipped cream that I use. I could not believe that it turned so runny so quickly. But overall, this Billionaire pie recipe was easy and delicious. Since I did Millionaire pie last year and Billionaire pie this year, I should turn this into a tradition. Right before New Year's, I'll make a new version of this pie, and every year I'll increase the dollar amount and I'll make it even more decadent. Although I don't think that Millionaire pie is usually a New Year's dessert, I made it last year right before New Year's because of the symbolism. And in the southern United States, there are a lot of foods that people eat, like collard greens or hoppin' john, that are symbolic of prosperity in the new year. So I thought that this would be a fun thing to do. And increasing the dollar amount and making the recipe more decadent every year would be a fun thing to do for this channel. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.